Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So I got a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today because it's finally happened. Emerald Dragon, at least the PC Engine CD version of the game, has been 100% translated into English and is now playable. And even though you're watching this video on January 2nd and it is the first ROM hack translation of 2026 on the channel, this actually came out 2 days ago on New Year's Eve. But I was quite busy and it took me a minute to get around to it. But to say I've been waiting to play this game in English would be an understatement. I have owned the FM Towns version of this game for like 10 years now, and I've definitely tried to sit down and play it more than once and been completely unsuccessful because this thing is absolutely dense with a ton of text. But now, from the menus to the overall story to everything else you need, it's going to be 100% in English, and that's going to be absolutely insane. Because even trying to save your game would be a chore, even if you're trying to hold your phone with Google Translate up to the screen. And to say Emerald Dragon has a little bit of a story would be an understatement. This thing is just straight up a classic JRPG from start to finish, so you're going to have a ton of text and a ton of story to follow along with. And even if you could use a guide and kind of poke your way through the game to be able to beat it, you'd have no idea why you were doing things. And a JRPG as good as this, you definitely want to understand the why of the matter, not just the how to see the credits scroll. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And just so you know, I left the developers of this names in the description because 2 of the 3 I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce, and as opposed to mispronouncing it and bumming them out, everything is written down in the description below copy and paste style, because the people in charge of this absolutely deserve all the credit in the world. This is just absolutely straight up amazing, and if that just isn't Kirkland Brand Spyro the Dragon right there, I don't know who it is. But obviously this came out long before Spyro did, even if I do get a little Spyro energy going on here. But as far as Emerald Dragon is concerned, if you've never heard of the game before, it's really easy to decide whether or not this is going to be something you want to play or you just want to watch a video on it and move on with your day. Or do you like classic 16-bit JRPGs, the Chrono Triggers, the Final Fantasies, the Secret of Manas, everything like that? If your answer to that question is yes, you absolutely need to play Emerald Dragon because it is straight up, in my opinion, a hidden gem. Now, it isn't a hidden gem if you can read or write or understand Japanese, because this game absolutely has a following, but unfortunately in the English language, it doesn't really have any following whatsoever because you'd have no idea what was going on. And even though the PC Engine CD version of the game might be inferior to the computer releases, it looks absolutely stunning here with this 16-bit pixel art. But now when you actually watch the cutscenes, you're going to have all of the Japanese original voice acting, which is good. You don't want this dubbed really, but you get English subtitles across the entirety of the story. So now you're going to understand what you're actually doing in Emerald Dragon. Because again, I've tried to play this thing more than once on my FM Towns Marty and my optical disc emulator in there just to kind of get a sense of what's going on. I've always wanted to be able to play this game from start to finish and have a new 16-bit JRPG that I knew was good from people who understood Japanese telling me so, but something that I could actually understand. And before you leave the comment down below, just learn Japanese. That happens on every single translation video. Not everyone has the time or the brain space to be able to actually learn a new language. I am very good at very many things in life, but second languages absolutely just break my brain because I cannot really fathom how one word becomes a different word and how you kind of pivot those in your own mind. But of course, everyone's good at something different, and for me, just not something I'm ever going to be able to be good at. And that is obviously why translations happen all the time, so that more people can enjoy the game. And I will say the combat system in Emerald Dragon a little bit different than you're used to, and it is a lot of fun. That's the great thing about a translation like this. It isn't just an epic amount of work because there is so much text. It brings you an absolutely outstanding game that you're really going to enjoy playing. And I've definitely played a couple hours of this in the background, but big thanks to Andy D for helping with the captures here. It has been a very busy holiday for Video Game Esoterica, with closing on the house and dealing with an upcoming move, and also being sick for basically 2 weeks. So Andy D as well as Kilter Music definitely helped me keep this going in December, so I can't thank those 2 enough as well, because again, this cold just absolutely stuck with me, and I'm finally at the other end of it. But let's move into a soundtrack sample in just a moment. It's going to have some voice acting as well, I believe, and that really is the fun thing. You get all of the fun, charming, original Japanese voice acting with all of the English translations below, so you understand exactly what's going on. So go ahead and listen for 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with a lot more.
ならばそれを胸に当てるのだ。これは聖地を覆いし呪いから我ら 術の方法、それが人間に化身することなのだ。さあ、銀の鱗のあった台座を開き、武具を手に入れよ。旅立つ用意は整ったようじゃな。では異界の門へ行くぞ。
Now, I'm not sure who the voice actor is there, and I could have looked it up, but I'm just going to leave you guys this question down below. Did that sound a little bit like Dracula from Rondo of Blood in Castlevania, or is it just me? It's one of those things. I always got that vibe when I heard that voice clip, because I have gotten to that point in the game before, just in Japanese. And like I said, this thing is just going to be absolutely dense with story, and I absolutely love the visuals on display here, from the colorways to how the scenes actually move with some parallax scrolling. This thing is just an epic 16-bit JRPG. It is every bit as big as some of those games out there that are considered to be the best of all time. It just never actually came west, so I don't really have much of an audience for it. And that's one of those things. This is going to open this game up to so many people, and I cannot imagine how many hundreds of hours, maybe even 1,000 plus, were put into translating something like this. And as far as the translation is concerned, you need two things out of it. It needs to be conversational and impart the overall tone of the game without being a literal translation, and you want good text formatting, kerning, and spelling. And I will say, in my gameplay time with this and watching this footage and editing it, I haven't seen anything whatsoever that makes this seem like anything else other than an actual English release version of the game that would have come out in the early 90s, except that never actually happened. And I never really read any information if Emerald Dragon was supposed to come west or not, so if you know anything about that, leave me a comment down below, because in all of my research of the game, I haven't seen really many instances whatsoever of people saying it was supposed to get ported, other than people saying that they hope it did. But honestly, this game just has the PC Engine aesthetic on lockdown, from the graphics to the music to the voice acting. It has that PC Engine feel that I absolutely love, and that is why it is one of my favorite consoles of all time. And now that this is translated, I would love to see, maybe in the future, even if it's not going to be necessary, the Japanese PC versions of the game, because I don't really sit down and play my FM10 Smarty all that much. Even though I could play Emerald Dragon on there in English, I'd love to check it out. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you even know Emerald Dragon existed, or is this the first time you're hearing about it? I would be genuinely curious, because I feel like a lot of people are going to say they didn't actually know this one existed, and that is why it's so amazing. Groups out there are doing these ROM hacks and translations, because suddenly Emerald Dragon is going to be a lot more popular and a lot more prominent in a lot of people's minds. And just think about how many other amazing JRPGs are out there that could still get this treatment. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me, what's the one JRPG you'd love to see translated? If you could just snap your fingers and make it appear tomorrow, which one would it be? Because I always love hearing your guys' answers on those. And every once in a while, you tell me about a game that I've never even heard of before. Because even if I know basically a shit ton of games out there, there's still stuff I've never heard of, and I always love to be introduced to new stuff. Second soundtrack sample, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back. The fun part about something like Emerald Dragon being on PC Engine in this instance is that you get the full Red Book soundtrack as well as a 16-bit aesthetic. So as far as the music is concerned, you're going to get something that, at least as a technology, is going to be higher quality than all of those JRPGs were on Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo. And of course, if you go over to the FM Towns, you're going to have an audio disc as well, so that's kind of where this audio comes from. But if you're going to play this thing on one system, obviously it's going to have to be PC Engine, because that's where this translation actually exists. And I think as far as the graphical stylings are concerned here, it really is a good addition to the PC Engine CD translation library, because it really does have that overall feel and vibe. And you can tell the developers of this thing absolutely love making it, because every single scene is fully dialogued, every single story beat is fleshed out, and you're going to really be curious as to what happens in the world of Emerald Dragon. and that is why translations are so important. Sure, the game looks amazing, sure it has great music and a really fun gameplay style, but again, I genuinely believe if you don't actually know why you're doing something, you don't have that same compelling reason to actually sit down and spend time with a game. Think of something like Chrono Trigger. The story there was so dense, and you wanted to see what happened next and what ending you were going to get. It really drove the entire gameplay experience forward, because even though Chrono Trigger is an incredible game, I think the story is the best part of it. Now imagine playing Chrono Trigger and not understanding the story whatsoever. You wouldn't have near as much fun with the game, even if technically it was awesome. And if you heard a growling in the background, that wasn't the dragon right there, that is my corgi Mari, because it is still a holiday, it's January 1st, and there's a lot of people at home across the building, and it really does make her just go absolutely nuts sometimes. If you never had a corgi before, they're basically guard dogs in 25-pound bodies who think they're 100-pound dogs that are ready to throw down at a moment's notice, kind of like a dragon except a lot smaller. But this is really just an awesome thing, and even though it is technically the last translation of 2025, on the channel it is the first translation of 2026, and damn it, I couldn't think of a better way to start the year, honestly. This from start to finish is just a straight up 15 out of 10, maybe even going so far as to be a 69 out of 10. It has everything you need, perfect translation, perfect formatting, and it is married to an absolutely incredible JRPG that I'm sure 99 out of 100 people haven't played, and probably 25 out of 100 people haven't even heard of before. So the link to the patch is in the description below. It is a little bit tricky to set up, and you do have to have the perfect version and revision of the disc, but unfortunately I can't really link that here. But I'm sure like pretty much every other translation and ROM hack, it'll start showing up online as a pre-patch version at some point in time, but I can't help you with that one here. But honestly, Emerald Dragon, straight up 10 out of 10, and now that it's in English, I'm going to have an ever-loving fun time playing this thing, seeing the credits scroll, and understanding exactly what goes on in the story, because it's been something I've been curious about since I heard about this game maybe 15 years ago, and since I bought an FM Towns copy 10 years ago, and today I can finally do it. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.